Today we are going to talk through some budgeting vocabulary words, and then I'm going to explain how to do the assignment. So let's start off with the word budget. Basically, if we're talking about a budget, we are talking about an itemized summary of probable income and expenses for a given period. So basically it's taking like how much money are you going to be making, how much money are you going to be spending, and then making sure that that's managed between so that you're not spending too much money so that you run out of money. And then hopefully your budget will include a plan for saving as well in case of emergencies, as we talked about. And usually budgets are done kind of on a monthly basis. And that's kind of what we're going to be working with for now. If we talk about budgeting as a verb, like a thing that you do, it is a plan that you're using to manage income and expenses. So we kind of use it interchangeably, noun versus verb. All right, income. We just talked about how income is one of the things that you need to think about when you're budgeting. And your income is the amount of money you make, okay? It's the payment that you receive for providing resources in the marketplace. So having a job, you are providing human resources or labor, and in exchange, you receive money. There are other forms of income. So it is possible that if you are doing a job, there are some places that have like apartment maintenance people. Sometimes their income will come in the form of getting a place to live. And so they don't actually get straight cash for that job. They might get, they don't have to pay rent for their apartment or something like that. But most of the time, most of us, for most jobs, we get money somehow. Expenses. These are the things that you buy, the costs incurred for goods and services. So sometimes when we buy things, it's an actual good, it's an actual product, and sometimes we're paying for services like a haircut or a massage or something like that. Okay, those are services that are provided. And there are different types of expenses, and this is one of the things that we are going to be talking about and doing on the assignment today, so definitely pay attention to this. There are expenses that when we talk about budgeting, there are fixed expenses, and these are things that occur each month in a regular amount. Okay, so that's like rent or a car payment. Occasionally your rent will go up, but that doesn't happen like month to month. That usually happens maybe once a year. So you kind of know like exactly how much you're going to be paying for rent at all times. It's the same with a car payment. If you're making a car payment, it's the same amount every month. That doesn't change. If you have a little extra cash and you want to pay extra, that's fine. But the amount that you need to spend on that expense is always fixed. It does not change. Okay? And then we have variable expenses. These are expenses that vary or change, like month to month. Some of the examples are food and gasoline. So maybe this month I'm driving more than I drove last month, and so now I spend more money on gas this month. The cost of gas, for example, goes up and down. So I might be buying the same amount of gas, but gas costs a different amount this month than it did last month. So those are things that change. Those are expenses that definitely can change month to month. Maybe clothing, you might have to buy extra like a big winter coat in October. You don't have to buy that again in November. So that's a variable expense. Things like that, those kind of miscellaneous things sometimes can be variable expenses. And then there are periodic expenses, and these are things that happen several times a year. Their example here is car insurance. Sometimes we pay car insurance every month. I personally pay my car insurance every 6 months. So that is a periodic expense. I only have to pay it twice a year, every 6 months. So I don't necessarily have to pay it every month, but I still have to kind of plan for it. I need to make sure that it is still in my budget and I am saving money for it, because once that 6 months comes up, then I'm going to have to pay it and I need to make sure that I have enough money. So those are things that we need to make sure that we keep in mind when we're doing our budgeting. All right, here's the story. Maria is one of your best friends. She keeps complaining that she runs out of money each month before she gets paid and that she isn't able to save any money. She's asked you to help her make a budget based on her income from 2 part-time jobs. She handed you a crumpled paper with the following record of her expenditures for last month. So the first thing we need to do is help her balance her monthly transactions by filling in the balance column. And then we are going to indicate which type of expense it is, if it's income, fixed, variable, or period, okay? So the assignment is on Schoology. It looks like this. This is the story right here. So here's what we're going to work on. We're going to work on making sure that we know how much money she has, and then we're also going to talk about what type of expense everything is. So here's the list of things that happened this month in the month of February for Maria. So this first one here is a paycheck that was direct deposited into her bank account. So if we assume she started with 0 money in her bank account and we have to add $210.20, 0 plus 210.20 is 210.20, right? Here, put a $sign out there. Okay, that one's pretty easy. And the type of expense, if it's a paycheck, okay, a paycheck is when I'm receiving money for my job. So if you remember, that is income, right? That's income, that's money that's coming in. It's also in the income column, so that's kind of a giveaway. All right. Now, the next thing that happened was she took out some cash at the ATM. Okay, so now we have to subtract 210.20, that's how much she has in her bank account, right? And we need to subtract 21.50 because she took that money out. Okay, so 210.20 minus 21.50 is 188.70. Okay, now the type of expense, if we're talking about cash, getting out cash, is that income, fixed, variable, or period? So is it money coming in? No. Okay, so it's not income. Is it a fixed amount? Is she going to be taking out exactly $21.50 every single month? Like, is that something that she has to do? No. Is it a variable expense that will change? Like maybe she's getting cash this month, she might not get cash next month? Yes. So then we put variable. Okay? So I want you to go through, this is the assignment, I want you to go through and take your balance and subtract or add as necessary. It's pretty, I think, pretty self-explanatory what you want to do. You're going to get down to the amount of money that she has at the very end. Okay? And then for each of the type of expenses, I want you to write down if it's income, fixed, variable, or period. Okay? Remember period, periodic are those ones that happen every once in a while, right? Not every month. Maybe every other month, every 6 months. So I want you to make sure that you're typing in the type of expense as well. Okay? Then, there is a second page, there is a step 2. You're going to go down here to this part, and you're going to total the amount in each category. So you're going to add up anything that counted as income. Okay, anything over here that says income, you're going to add that together. I'm going to give you a big hint. It's these two numbers here. I just told you the answer. Okay, so that goes here, your monthly income. Anything that you marked as variable, anything that will change month to month, or that isn't like a necessary, this exact amount is going to be spent all the time, you're going to add those all together and put that amount there. The fixed expenses, the things that are the same every single month that she has to pay for, that's going to be added together and put here. And then the period, any period expenses, any of those that she only has to do every so many months or whatever, are going to go here. Okay? And then you just have to answer these two questions. How much money does Maria have to spend each month? Okay? How much money is that? That is needed to be spent every single month. And then if Maria wanted to put aside $50 each month to save up for an apartment, what changes would she have to make to her spending? So what does she need to do to make sure that she has $50, okay, $50 to put aside each month to save up for an apartment? Okay? And then once you are done with all of that, you can turn it in on Schoology.